Greetings from the West Lafayette Public Library for me. That's why I'm a little bit darker than usual in Minnesota. A beautiful new facility, by the way. Tom Dienhart and I are both West Lafayette folks, and they have a beautiful library right in the village here on campus. Want to thank we're here for the Acre Pro buy sell, and obviously a lot going on in the world of Purdue football after the last big win over Minnesota. But we want to thank our sponsor, Acre Pro. When it comes to land sales, it pays to have experts in your corner. Acre Pro Midwest Farm Group are your local farmland specialists with decades of experience in Indiana agriculture. No one knows the market better. Whether you're doing a 1031 exchange, which I know Tom does a lot, we always say that, or simply buying and selling farmland, your local Acre Pro agent will walk the land with you. That's Kyle Spray and Company, and they'll ensure the deal is done right. Visit acrepro.com or call 765-587-3185 and talk to your local Acre Pro land expert today. Again, that number 765-587-3185. Well, Purdue's season turned a little bit in a major way, I guess, and in the win over Minnesota last week. And all of a sudden, the world is full of possibilities for Jeff Brohm and company. Tom, you saw it there in person, but I guess we'll go with our first buy sell. Aidan O'Connell. How rare is it that Purdue literally runs for as many yards as it passes and wins games? We did the research, so I haven't looked it up yet of how many times Purdue's won on the road with under 200 yards passing. Not all that often, but I'm going to ask you that question. All right, Aidan O'Connell was getting. Jeff Brohm talked about on Monday that he was ready to go and expected him to be healthy enough to play again this week. But do you see him? We'll set the threshold at 250 yards. What do you see from that standpoint? Yay or nay on that?
Yeah, he said, Coach Brohm said optimistic was the word he used about Aidan O'Connell. So, yeah, I guess you lean toward him playing again. The question, again, Alan, is if he does play, how good is he going to be? Because I think we all can agree he was still off last week at Minneapolis, wasn't himself. I didn't think. They still won.
Yeah.
Without throwing a touchdown pass, Alan. I think that's the first time Purdue's won a game without a TD pass since 2013, maybe, against Indiana State. So just crazy. They're resourceful, right? I'm going to say Aidan's going to be healthier, and he's going to be more effective too. And he's going to have to be more effective because this opponent, Maryland's a lot different than Minnesota. They've got a very good passing game. Tungalaboa, the younger brother of Tua.
You pronounced it right, so there you go. I don't think I
got his last name down. Just not sure about his first name. Tungalaboa, just like Fakasieki.
Yeah,
I got
good at that too.
Now that's fun to say, but because they can throw the ball, Alan. And if Purdue's going to win, they're going to have to score more than 20 points, which is what they had last week. I think Maryland's going to put some points up. They've got a good offense. Again, the quarterback, they got 6 good receivers. They got a 5-star guy named Rakeem Jarrett. Keep your eye on him at wide receiver. They've got 2 good running backs, both averaging over 6 yards a carry. So, again, for Purdue's sake, they better hope Aidan's back to being Aidan. Again, I think he will be closer to the number 16 we're used to seeing. And like I said, it's a game. It's a lot different opponent. And again, I think it was encouraging to see what O'Connell did last week, Alan. And it's something he can build on. You got to think he's going to continue to get better because I'll be honest, I don't think he really took any big hits last week too. Sacked a couple of times, but never really got ragdolled. So again, I don't think he absorbed any additional punishment that would have, I guess, caused a setback from a health standpoint.
Well, if it's ribs and whatever, that I think I'd still be in bed. But I don't know how you play quarterback and be able to do that just with that pain threshold. It's got to be pretty strong that he was able to get through that. All right, Purdue has also done something somewhat rare the last 2 weeks, rare in recent times, certainly 100-yard rushers. And Dylan Downing and Devin Mockabee last week. Are you buying a third straight week? Has that happened at College Park?
Why not? You talked in the opening about Purdue running the football the last couple of weeks against FAU, Alan. I think they had more rushes than passing attempts.
Yeah.
Last week, I think, 168 yards rushing, maybe it was. And this is without King Daru, their number 1 running back. And Maryland, Alan, Maryland's always a team that's got some good skill players in the perimeter on defense and offense, but they usually are a little step back in the trenches. And I think Purdue's going to be able to have some success running the football. Why not, too?
Yeah.
Take some pressure off Aidan O'Connell. Don't ask him to throw 50 times if he doesn't have to. Why not keep trying Devin Mockabee and Dylan Downing? They've been very effective. Again, Downing got the 100 against FAU, Mockabee last week. Sounds like King Drew's probably going to be out again. So they're going to have to ride those two again. And so I'm going to say yes. Purdue will have another 100-yard rusher individual. And I wonder the last time Purdue's had 3 100-yard rushers in consecutive games. Again, on that note, too, I looked up, Alan, the 68-yard run by Devin Mockabee was the longest by a running back since Markel Jones in 2015, although Rondell had a 76-yarder back in 2018. So we're seeing some things done in the ground game that have not been done in a while.
Yeah, I think 3 straight running. Boy, I got to think you got it. I'm not even sure that. And again, we number crunching. I think we did look that up, but we'll have that on the site here before long. But it hasn't. You can probably go back to Mike Allstott. I'm thinking, and maybe Joey Harris in 2002.
How about just when's the last time Purdue had back-to-back 100-yard rushers that were different players?
Yeah,
I'm guessing it may not be as long as we think. Though some of those 2017, 2018 teams could run the ball kind of well. DJ Knox, Tario Fuller. So maybe they pulled it off in one of those 2 seasons, but maybe it goes back further than I'm even thinking and pushes back to the 90s with the Coletto era, or even the Tiller era with in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and Ed Matthews and Kendall.
They probably did it.
Ed Watson and Kendall Matthews in 97, maybe. I don't know, but it is going to be interesting. We're doing a little research on that, and we'll come up with that answer, be on the site this week. But yeah, it's been impressive. Devin Maccabee's run, and I would say, again, you've watched a lot of Purdue football over the years. That's as good a run because he had to make a cut. He did things I hadn't seen. I mean, Markel's Jones is 68-yard or whatever how long that was against Michigan State, number 2 Michigan State, and Purdue almost won that game amazingly, but it was a straight up the gut. I don't think he had to make a big move there to do. I think it's as good a run, and I'll say in the buy sell going back to, I can't think of a better run from scrimmage for a touchdown. Maybe going back to, Rondell Moore's, again, as you said, is not a running back. That wasn't, and certainly Rondell Moore's catch against Ohio State and run was as good a play. But boy, you got to go back to maybe Mike Allstott in 1995 against Indiana for that 64-yard run. His last run from scrimmage, one of the great runs I've seen. But there probably are others, and we are notorious. I am notorious. You're not, Tom, that for not seeing the forest for the trees.
I'm the same way.
But it was a really as good a run from scrimmage that I've seen and didn't go for a touchdown either that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, you're right, and it's kind of nice you got to finish off the drive on the next play with the 2-yard touchdown run, just a quick 2-play drive, Alan. Not many big plays last week. That was another thing.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks, there haven't been many big plays. I think there were 2 passes over 15 yards and 4 runs over 10 last week. The explosiveness hasn't been there. Every offense needs chunk plays, Alan. It's so hard to score points if you have to drive the ball 10, 11 plays every time. And Charlie Jones, I tell you what, the best was for last, right? That fourth quarter. The 2 biggest plays of the game. You talked about the Mockabee run, the Charlie Jones 28-yard catch that set up the field goal that put Purdue ahead, I think 13-10. So again, just the big plays haven't been there. Aidan really couldn't throw the ball downfield. And I know Al and the Minnesota defense was set up like that. Those 2 deep safeties, they were not going to get beat deep. They were going to say, hey, Purdue, if you're going to beat us, you're going to run the ball. And Purdue ran the ball, and Jeff Brown was patient with the run game. So it's probably a scheme Purdue will see again from the Maryland defense, I would think, trying to keep everything in front of them. Don't give up the big plays. But a lot of times Purdue will still take his shots. Again, I don't think Aidan was really capable maybe of getting the ball downfield as well as he usually is, which may have really been a reason why they didn't take those shots downfield under normal circumstances that they would.
All right, buying or selling Purdue, the favorite now in the Big Ten West. And somebody on our message boards talked about the fact that the Maryland game was somewhat immaterial.
Yeah, I read that.
I don't know if I buy that, because Minnesota would still have, if Purdue loses again, Minnesota would have to lose again now for Purdue to have the tiebreaker. But and I don't know, and I'm sure Vegas has laid some odds on this already, but is Purdue, are you buying or selling that Purdue is the favorite in the Big Ten West? Certainly you've talked about Illinois and what they've done as well. How do you view that?
Yeah, I'm selling. I just, as much as I like this Purdue team, I guess I still have my questions, beginning with Aidan O'Connell and his ability to get really fully healthy again. 400-yard passing per game healthy, Aidan O'Connell. I'm not going to write off Iowa. That's still the team. And even Minnesota, Alan, I know they just lost the Boilers, but they're going to give Mo Ibrahim back. And I still think that's a pretty good team. So I guess I still think, even though Iowa's got its well-documented issues with its offense, you got a terrific defense, very good special teams. They have to come to West Lafayette November 5th. Maybe that's a de facto Big Ten West title game. So I think for me, I'm selling Purdue being the favorite. I'm leaning just a little slightly toward Iowa still being really the team to beat when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think at that, give me another week. And I do think this week's important just because it's always important to win games and get momentum. And I know Purdue, and this is another trivial thing, I don't think Purdue's ever going to have faced two interim coaches in consecutive weeks.
Yeah, how about that?
I don't think that's ever happened. If it has, I'm, again, missing the forest for the trees. But until they meet Wisconsin at Wisconsin, I'm not buying that they're the favorite. I think they have a chance. Don't get me wrong. And I think you could build a case that after this week, again, as we said 2 weeks ago, they won't be more than a 3 or 4 point underdog in any game left. And really, maybe after this week, they may not be an underdog, depending on what happens to Wisconsin if they're in the tank. But I also can't imagine that Purdue's a road favorite. And Illinois.
Yeah, but
Illinois, you're not, and that's what you've written and talked about, how that's why we love college football. All these things we thought for certain Illinois was a dumpster fire and not going to get out of it. Now they have the best running back in the country, or one of the best. That's my point, is what we thought in August is not the same as what we're going to see in October, November. And
maybe Illinois does win it. They're that close to being unbeaten now. Remember, they lost that Indiana really late. They had a touchdown waved off by a poor call by an official. So Tommy DeVito, quarterback, talked about Chase Brown. They got a nice defense. Their coordinator, Ryan Walters, is now a hot commodity. So, yeah, Purdue's got to go to Champaign, like you said, in August. You run down the schedule. You go win, win, loss, win, win. Those are getting switched around now, right, as these teams are showing who they truly are. I always said October would be Purdue's tell month, the make or break month, to really let us know. Not a huge revelation, obviously, but you got 3 or 4 games on the road. I thought Purdue was going to lose at Minnesota in August. They've obviously won. Here comes the trip to Maryland, the game I thought they were going to win in August. Maryland's 4-1, Alan. Just beat Michigan State. Purdue's about a 4.5 point underdog. Nebraska comes to West Lafayette next. Purdue should be about a touchdown favorite. Then you talked about going to Wisconsin. I still think Purdue's going to be an underdog up there, Alan. Yeah. No matter what happens the next 2 weeks with the Badgers, maybe as little as maybe a field goal. But I do think they'll still be an underdog to get way ahead of ourselves. I'm trying to predict the odds on games. But who knows, Al? Maybe they go 4-0 this month. I thought, man, if they go 2-2 in October, that'd be great. And when you look at how things are playing out, maybe they got a good chance to go 4-0, which would be incredible and set up a heck of a fun November, Alan. Iowa at home, Northwestern at home. You're at Illinois and at Indiana in November.
Yeah, I don't know that they've gone 4-0. I know the run to the Rose Bowl in 2000, they went through Michigan, Northwestern, Wisconsin, and of course Ohio State. I don't know in 2003 if they went undefeated no, they didn't, because they lost at Michigan, I think, that in the month of October that year. So yes, 4-0 Octobers generally gets you to a good bowl, and that that would be an amazing thing. But stay tuned. We'll let you know next week where the Boilermakers are sitting. It will be a telltale. It'll be great. It'll be an interesting game this week, and when Purdue takes on Maryland, very fascinating game. All right, we will have a lot more on the site this week as Tom breaks this down. Matchup preview. We'll have our Friday Gold and Black live show as well as we do it. Tom will be on the road again. Flying to BWI, right? Maybe?
Yeah, going into Baltimore and get there Friday. That's always that's a neat campus. It's a neat stadium. They don't have a real passionate fan base. I'm guessing it's probably their homecoming.
Yeah,
so maybe there'll be a better crowd than usual. Alan, I'm just happy it kicks off at noon.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a little wild about Nebraska 7:30 start, at least for us.
At home, I don't mind the home night games that much.
Yeah, we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it when we get it, my friend. So, all right, we want to thank acrepro.com and the folks there for sponsoring our Tuesday buy sell feature. I know you guys are watch this and listen to this with bated breath and hang on every word that we say, but we appreciate the fact that you take the time to listen to us. You can visit acrepro.com or call 765-587-3185 and talk to your local land expert. Again, that number is 765-587-3185. All right, Tom, until next week for the Acre Pro buy sell, we will have a lot to hash over as we'll look ahead to the Nebraska game and look back at the Maryland game. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll look forward to doing this again in 7 days.